You know what's so funny about you calling the left authoritarian is that you think the left has power. Like, I love that you think
total nonsense.
We are on the precipice of real authoritarianism and real fascism, and you believe that the online left are the authoritarians. I mean, I don't know how to tell you. You sound like Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi had a kid, and it came out Cenk Uygur. And let me just ask you though. Let me just ask you. So what shows on the left do you like that aren't on the TYT network?
Francesca Fiorentini had Cenk Uygur on her show, The Bitchuation Room, to set the record straight on exactly what his views are right now. Has he left the left? Has he become a right-wing grifter? Or is he the true left, the true progressive? We're going to take a look at clips from this debate and interview, which is over 2 hours long. So if you want to watch the entire thing, go to Francesca Fiorentini's channel, The Bitchuation Room. But I want to focus on about a 10-minute section of this, so I'm going to show clips from this debate with Fran and Cenk. I'll share my thoughts on this as well. This is one that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, so I said, look, there's a lot of good popular shows on the left that I like, and it's because there are. So Breaking Point's a good show. Kyle Kalinski's Secular Talk is a good show. He was against me going on MAGA. I haven't seen his video, but Kyle's been against us a couple of times. But I largely didn't hold a grudge on that.
But wait, let me just stop you. First of all, you had a great conversation with Crystal Ball. I think she made some really good points to you on, I think it was on Breaking Points. Kyle has, I think, been very disturbed, especially by your appearance with Charlie Kirk. But what you just said there, they've been against us. I really want to just dig into this idea that, because you're a fighter, man. That's cool. That's great. But like, you really do have a very I almost want to call it Bush-like, Cheney-like, you're with us or against us attitude.
100% wrong.
Like, you just literally, I love that you're proving my point. But when I say this, you truly, you sound like people are either against you, but if they criticize you, they are not. And yet, here you are, Cenk, telling the entire right wing that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right. Anyway,
you think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse. Okay, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay, if they start at all.
Yeah,
stop hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
Yes, you are. You're using them as human shields.
I'm standing in front of vulnerable communities, Cenk.
No, you're not.
Are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please, don't help me. Come on, Cenk. This is so sad. That's so sad.
Let's take
it down. Let's simmer down. No. Simmer down. I'm asking. Let me just ask you real honest.
Before Francesca gets into this next part, I thought she handled that really well there with Cenk to not get more angry than what she did. I mean, that's a pretty awful thing that he said to her there when she seems to have real fears about her family members. I mean, he could have the same fears as well, but to say that, she's hiding behind that, I think is pretty bad on Cenk's part. When he talks about that there are other channels that he likes, and okay, he brings up examples of, Crystal and Kyle, but just a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago at the time that I'm recording this, he went on Hassan's show and said that he is the left, that Cenk is the left, and all these other people are grifters. Now, he seems to be the most angry with Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland for whatever reason. They've addressed Anna and Cenk directly, I guess maybe more than some of the other channels have. I don't know, but both things can't be true. He can't be that he's the only left. That's what he was saying on Hassan's show. And then he's saying, I like these other channels.
God.
You already said 12 things that I need to respond to. Can I respond to them?
No, I want to ask you this one question.
Of course not.
Let's talk about you going on these shows. Just simmer down. Let me ask you one question. Imagine if Kamala Harris had won. Okay, she wins. She wins the popular vote. She wins obviously the electoral college. Incredible, first female president, blah, 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 all this stuff. And Tucker Carlson started making all these rounds on like really like progressive leftist shows, went on Kyle's show, went on my show. I'm like, who the hell? Started reaching out and wanting to talk and wanting to come to agreement on things. What would that look like to you?
Yeah, it would look like Tucker was trying to reach out. Tucker's a bad example because I would be surprised if he did that. But okay, yeah, no problem.
What would it look like to you?
Care. I wouldn't. What I don't. And do I think that Tucker would be selling out? No, there's no chance.
No. Well, I'm not. It's not even. It's not about selling out. What would that like? What would it just seem like? Hey, man, we can agree. Yeah, you know what? I did say that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire and she's basically a communist, but now I just feel like I've antagonized you and I'm here to like break bread and let's talk and let's get stuff done. What would that look like to you?
It would look surprising, but I wouldn't care. I'd find it interesting. Why? What does it look like to you?
I mean, to me, if Tucker Carlson did that, I'd be like, oh, we fucking won. We won like crazy. We won so resoundingly. He's doing an apology tour because 3 ghosts visited him in the middle of the night and he's completely changed his tune because he wants to throw down with the winners. We are crushing it. And I saw in that moment, you want me to play it for you? When Charlie Kirk goes, "We're glad Cenk's here, everybody." And that was the feeling that I think a lot of right-wingers have when they look at you, Cenk, where they're like, damn, yo, we crushed so hard. Even this guy is turning now.
Yeah, except I'm not turning. I've said it 2,000 times.
I'm just saying what it would look like. I'm just saying what it would look.
You keep saying it like it's true when it isn't remotely true. But okay, let me address it. So, okay, number one, you're empirically wrong because guess what's happening? Matt Gaetz has reached out to us, Tucker Carlson, to come on our shows. And so it's your exact analogy, okay? Patrick Bet-David, et cetera, and they won. They're still trying to come on the Young Turks. Why? Because they're trying to have a conversation, not because they want to do an apology tour. They think they are ascendant.
Are they trying to have a conversation, or are they trying to just get views and clicks? Do they really want to have, do these right-wingers and these MAGA people, do they really want to find common ground with the left and progressives? Does Cenk Uygur honestly believe that Patrick Bet-David and some of these other right-wing figures really want to find common ground with the left and progressive? Or in the case of what they'd be doing with TYT and with Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, just trying to grow their audience even more. Cenk and Anna have 6 million or so subscribers on the main channel, not to mention how many other subscribers the other channels have. So even though these other channels are big, going on Cenk Uygur's show could get them more viewers and more subscribers. Aside from that, does Cenk really think that any of these MAGA people really want to find common ground and to compromise with the left rather than just crush the left? I mean, these people that for years and years and years now have just said the left and Democrats and progressives are all communists and they're a threat to the country and they hate America. And, if you don't like America, you should leave and all of that. Does he think those people are going to compromise with us?
But nevertheless, they want to talk to the left.
But you had to make it's because they think that your
version of the left says, no way, we never talk to the other side. But we're not authoritarian.
Cenk, that's not true.
You're not allowed to disagree 1%, but we're not authoritarian. We have no power, so we're not authoritarian. So that's not how it works, Franny. And the establishment Democrats are all.
Sam Seder, who Cenk Uygur says is a grifter, just recently went on Tim Pool's show. Emma Vigeland has gone on Tim Pool's show. These other progressive shows will talk to right-wingers. Sam Seder went on Patrick Bet-David's show. But Sam, to Cenk, is a grifter and doesn't want to talk to right-wingers.
Also authoritarian. So what do they say? You must agree with Kamala Harris, otherwise that's it. You're a heretic and you're being driven out from the party. You know that. The establishment Democrats have done that to us for the last 20 years. Don't tell me that there's no power on the left. There's tons of power on the left. And when the swarm comes, the left-wing swarm, oh, you'd like to be called a woman. You're racist, fascist, transphobe. What? I'm not authoritarian. No, that is an authoritarian mindset. Just you don't have to have power to have an authoritarian mindset. And there's different versions of power. There's the shunning power. There's social media power. There's mainstream media power. There's political power. There's all sorts of different power. So look, guys, the left. First of all,
there's also just money and actual power.
It gets back to the we. So you ask me politically, who do I represent? I represent the great majority of left-wing voters. The great majority of left-wing voters are not pro-establishment. They get tricked by mainstream media into voting in that direction. It drives me absolutely nuts. But when you ask them about policies, they agree with us completely on policies, right? And the great majority of left-wing voters are not far left. They think a woman should be called a woman. And I'm not saying that in some dismissive way. I'm in favor of trans rights. If you want to be called a birthing person, we love it. We got no problem with it. You be called a birthing person. But when you say no, we call everyone a birthing person. America hates it. Left-wing voters hate it. When you pretend there's no crime, left-wing voters hate it. So I'm standing up for the overwhelming majority of Democratic voters and left-wing voters.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Authoritarian sides of the left saying you're not allowed to disagree with the establishment. You're not allowed to disagree with the extreme left. No, I am allowed. I am allowed. And, hang on.
Wait, please. I don't want to lose the forest for the trees here, truly. And I hear what you're saying. I know it can feel online like a circular firing squad. I understand.
Billion%. It happens every time.
I know it does. So I come from movement backgrounds, right? I've been in many spaces since the global justice movement in the early 2000s, then the anti-Iraq war movement. I've been in a lot of organizing spaces. I have been in more organizing spaces, far left spaces than I have in campaigns, political campaigns, for example. So I know those spaces very well. I know we can often over-police one another. I know we can tear each other's throats out. I absolutely concede that. I do agree with that. At this moment, sad to say, that's not the biggest fish we have to fry. In fact, we're in, again, a moment just before Project 2025 will be implemented, and people like myself, people who are on the streets demonstrating for Palestine, will be recommended for deportation, among many other things. But of course, I guess I'm using that as a shield. I don't know, according to you. But I did want to ask Cenk before this. I want to ask you about who the establishment is in your mind. Who is the establishment, and who is not the establishment?
Great question. So Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, all the corporate Democrats who take corporate PAC money, serve their corporate donors 100%, lie to us 24/7, never intend to do any progressive policy positions, never intend to do any Democratic policy positions that they state in campaigns, and are backed by the liars in mainstream media, pretending that they're on our side when they're playing good cop, bad cop with establishment Republicans and robbing us blind on behalf of their donors.
Do you think that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are establishment?
So they're complicated. The reason they're complicated is because they act like the establishment. They do the same robberies, the same corporate tax cuts, but they are pretending to be populists. And that's why I've called Donald Trump a fake populist hundreds of times, right? And I've called him a fake populist on right-wing shows. And I've said, hey, watch out for your own donors on right-wing shows, right? And so, but they're not part of this the machine that was the Borg. Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden were the co-captains of the Borg, and that machine was unstoppable. And that machine was, maintains corporate rule, and that's my mortal enemy. That Borg is the one we should all be fighting against.
So do you think it's less bad that one person donates $277 million to a candidate versus 5 people donating $277 million to a candidate? Elon Musk gave $277 million to Donald Trump and is now, again, worth $400 billion. Is that somehow less establishment in your mind?
So there's two parts of it, Franny. One is they at least talk the populist game, and the advantage of that is that also spread through the right-wing base. That, hey, them faking populism, remember, the people that are hearing that message don't realize it's fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking anti-war, they're talking anti-corporate. You see Tucker Carlson talking anti-corporate. You see Steve Bannon saying we should increase corporate taxes. That doesn't mean Steve Bannon is an angel, but what it does mean, or anywhere near it, but what it does mean is that idea of populism and anti-establishment, et cetera, is spreading throughout the right wing. That is an amazing opportunity for us to actually coalesce on economic populism that they now believe in, even if their leader doesn't, right? So that's point one, and it's super important. Point two is, in some ways, that individual corruption is worse, and in some ways it's better. So how is it worse? So Miriam Adelson gives, $137 million to Trump, and Sheldon Adelson had given him $200 million in previous campaigns. So he delivers foreign policy to the Adelson family, right?
Right.
Moved our embassy in his first term. Now he's thinking about allowing the annexation of northern Gaza and the West Bank. And you saw me fight tooth and nail against Trump, because that's what I was really, really worried about, that he's going to go and be extreme and radical to serve his top donors. On Elon, he handed all of domestic policy to him. So that's how it's worse. How in the world could it be at the same time a little bit better? Well, the way that it's better is that it's not a machine. It's chaotic. So it's one guy here and another person there, but the other person disagrees with Miriam, and then Trump doesn't quite know what to do, and he listens to the last person in the room, but he also kind of listens to his base. We've got chaos there, and chaos is way better than a machine.
Here is an area where I would disagree with Cenk pretty strongly on this. To me, you're just replacing one machine with another. I do think that the chaos is our one area of hope. We saw this in the first Trump administration, that he fired anybody who was competent, and so it made it, they got their tax cuts through. But other than that, they didn't really accomplish a whole lot that they wanted to. But they've also been preparing to put people in there who will be much more loyal to Trump than what we saw the first time around. So if he does get some competent people in there who are also true believers, or they're just very loyal to Trump, then they can do a whole lot of damage. And the idea that, Cenk seems to think that the base is populist, the base of the Republican Party and the base of MAGA, or let's just call it the Republican Party, is populist, and maybe they would turn on Trump if he doesn't do what they want him to do. It's a cult. They're going to do whatever Trump says. They're going to go along with whatever Trump says. Trump can say one thing today, they're going to totally agree with that. He can say the exact opposite tomorrow, and they're going to go along with that as well. I don't know if Cenk is naive about the idea that Trump isn't the establishment. Trump is now establishment Republican. All of the Republicans have to bow down to him, and he controls the party. So whether Cenk agrees with that or not, the new establishment is Trump and MAGA. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. I think this is a really fascinating conversation between Francesca Fiorentini and Cenk Uygur. Like I said, it's 2 hours long. Please go over to Francesca's channel, The Bitchuation Room, and subscribe. Please give me a subscribe as well. Both of our channels are growing pretty quickly, but Francesca does great work. So I'd love to see her channel grow to be as big as TYT. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.